Next time you come in, you come heavy or not at all.
God damn! God damn!
Damn. Black Adam got folded. So what's happening? I want to make an update or a follow-up to a video I did recently because, well, I was wrong. I'm not a proud man. I can admit when I messed up. So a few weeks ago, I made a video talking about a bunch of different DC news. And one of the topics was about Black Adam's box office performance. Because at the time of that video, the movie wasn't doing too hot. It was doing moderately well. At least for a movie that was about to go into its second weekend. And when compared to recent DCEU movies, like The Suicide Squad, Wonder Woman 1984, and Shazam, it actually had a bigger opening weekend. And there was also a China release date set for November 11th. So at the time, looking at all that, I thought the movie was going to do moderately well. But things quickly changed, and here's what happened. So it looks like the release in China was cancelled, and I honestly thought that Black Adam was going to be a big hit in China. Not only because The Rock himself does pretty well in China, but more importantly, China hasn't gotten any new comic book movies from either Marvel or DC in what, like a year, 2 years? They didn't get Spider-Man No Way Home or Doctor Strange, although they did get the Batman, so that's good for them. Hell, even the new Black Panther didn't get released in China. So I figured Black Adam was going to do well just because there wasn't going to be much competition over there, at least in the comic book movie space. But now we'll never know. Honestly, I thought it was going to be like the Aquaman situation, where it does okay domestically, but much better worldwide. I didn't think it was going to hit $1 billion like Aquaman, but I expected something more. So it's currently sitting at $350 million, and it's definitely on the fast track to beat Shazam's total box office pool. But yeah, it's undeniably kind of a flop, considering Black Adam had almost a $200 million budget. I mean, the movie is still in theaters, but now that Black Panther released, that film was totally going to eclipse it. Because let's be honest, if they were going to see Black Adam a month ago, they definitely aren't going to see it now when there's a more hyped and anticipated comic book movie out. I mean, Black Panther's been out for like, what, a week? It's already surpassed Black Adam's total box office pool with $400 million. I mean, it's looking like that might be a $1 billion movie. But yeah, I'm definitely surprised by its outcome. I thought Black Adam was going to do much better. Now, I haven't seen people online argue that the Rotten Tomatoes scores probably didn't help, because a lot of the average moviegoers do place a lot of stake in Rotten Tomatoes and their scores, even though most people don't actually know how the site works. For those of you who don't, here's the section in the last video I did explaining it. But if you already know how Rotten Tomatoes works, you can just skip it if you want. So their scoring system is kind of lame and pretty misleading at times. So the way the Rotten Tomatoes critics percentage works is that this percentage here is the amount of critics that gave the movie a 6 out of 10 or higher. So for example, if you have 10 critics and 8 of them give the movie a 6 out of 10 and the other 2 critics give the movie a 1 out of 10, then the total percentage is 80% because 80% of the critics gave it a 6 out of 10 or higher. Or let's just say that those same 10 critics gave it a 6 out of 10, which means that the percentage score would be 100% because 100% of the critics gave it a 6 out of 10 or higher. So the percentage isn't actually the average score of the reviews given. It's there to tell you how many critics gave it a 6 out of 10 or higher. Now there is a way to see the actual average of the reviews, and this can drop or increase depending on the movie. But as you can see, it's actually pretty easy to take advantage of this. In Black Adam's case, the average critic score is a 5.1 out of 10, which would make it right over 50%, 11% higher than the advertised 39%. And just like that, it took their percentage from looking bad to now looking average. Now I got curious and looked at some of these Black Adam critic reviews. And the way Rotten Tomatoes works is that it pulls from different reviews from across the internet, and it converts the score that was originally given to fit on their percentage tomato meter. So if some news article gave a movie a B or an A, it will convert that into like a positive fresh rating. Now what's weird about Rotten Tomatoes is that sometimes their conversions don't make sense, and they'll sometimes get the same score or rating from different critics, different scores on their tomato meter. So for example, you can actually find some fresh ratings that have a 3 out of 5, but then at the same time you can also find ones that are rotten with a 3 out of 5, even though it's the same score. And the same thing goes with like C or C plus ratings. Sometimes it considers them positive, so it gives it a fresh rating, but then sometimes it considers it a negative review and gives it a rotten rating, despite the fact that these articles gave it the same score. It's reasons like this people don't trust Rotten Tomatoes. Not only is it easy to manipulate with their whole, 6 out of 10 percentage rating, but also when you start looking at the reviews, sometimes their conversion doesn't really make any sense. Some reviews are considered fresh, others are considered rotten, even though they have the same exact score. I mean, here's another example on how misleading it can be. The new movie X has a 94% on Rotten Tomatoes. Pretty damn impressive, right? But when you actually look at the average score from the critics, it's actually a 7.7. But as you can see, 94% of critics gave the movie a 6 out of 10 or higher. Now X isn't a bad movie at all. I just want to use that as an example to show you how drastically different the actual average score is and what the average percentage rating can be. Same thing with Barbarian. 92% on the tomato meter, 7.5 average. Hell, if you actually want a more recent example, look at the new Black Panther. It shows you an 84% critic score, but the actual average is 7.2. Isn't it crazy how much that score can jump up and down? But maybe another reason why the movie flopped is something more obvious, and that's the whole Snyder fan versus a real DC fan. So people still get the impression that Snyder fans are a small minority, but I think there's actually a bigger overlap than people believe. I mean, personally, just looking at my own Twitter feed, I saw several Snyder fans just openly saying they're not going to see this movie. And then after the film's release, there were hashtag trendings calling for Zack Snyder's Snyder's return. And if Snyder fans weren't, quote, real DC fans, I don't think they would follow these DC movies and events as close as they do. Or maybe I'm crazy and it's all just a coincidence that a lot of people I saw labeled as Snyder fans didn't see Black Adam, and then Black Adam just turns out to be a flop. Could have just been a coincidence. That's all I really have to say. Really short video today. I just wanted to make this as an update and just advertise the L that I took. Because damn, I was expecting the movie to land in like the $500 million range. But regardless of how the movie turned out, they're definitely going to make a second one. There's no way that Warner Brothers Discovery is going to let The Rock go. And plus, I think The Rock's own production company actually invested heavily into the film. So who knows, odds are they probably paid for the bulk of the budget. Yeah, I don't got anything else to say. But if you enjoyed the video, go and drop a like on it. And leave a comment, let me know what's your take on this whole situation. And of course, I'll give a nice big shout out to the channel members. You guys aren't flops. If you're interested in becoming a channel member, click the join button down below, check out the perks. And if they interest you, consider joining. Or not, it don't matter.
None of this matters.
Just call anonymous. You call anonymously.
They know my voice. They'll know me.
I hope you choke on a motherfucking cheese stick, you nasty, greasy bitch. You look like you drink white Gatorade and smell like nickels. Fuck you.